Yeah, absolutely. The reason I quite like smaller businesses is they tend to be a lot less political. I think in big organizations, they tend to have a lot more people in them, and people guard their territories, and they'll be like, oh, that's my job, and take it off. And quite often I remember you start doing something and then you find out that someone else was doing it over there, and that used to drive me absolutely crazy, the kind of waste of that and the confusion that it generated. And what I really like about working in a smaller business is it's much faster to make decisions. So we'll sit down with my team, this problem will come up, and we'll be like, okay, well, let's change that, and we can change it tomorrow, and we don't need to get permission from lots of people, and we don't have to get sign off from our board or anything. We can make the decision, and the resources are allocated to us to be able to do that. I absolutely love being able to do that type of fast decision making. I think also, when you're earlier in your career, you can find you can move faster in smaller companies, because we'll turn around and go like, who thinks they can do this? And someone will go like, me? And they've been waiting for the chance to have a go at it, and we're like, right, go, what are you going to need? We'll support you on that. And I think that's some of the joy of a small company, is you get this broader diversity in your role, you get to tend to do more things. A tricky one, because I think you can just start by asking people, right? So if you've had working groups at university and you've done projects together, I think generally always do group projects. Ask your group, what was I best at? Ask your friends. If you were to describe me to someone, how would you describe me? Most people have a set of kind of core soft skills that they will have for the rest of their life, like whether it's communication, or people get on with them, they get on with people easy, they're really sociable, they might be very persuasive. All of those types of things are really foundational skills that you're not going to have to work at through your career. And so the things that you can probably spend most of your time thinking about in terms of your development are the ones that you do have to work at, because you'll end up having to complement them with things that you've already got. I'd encourage you to just ask people, ask your parents, ask your friends, and start there. Like if you were to describe me, what do you think I would be good at? And then test that out as you do roles, and ask the people that you're working with to help you understand. If you want to do your own business and you need to understand trends, there's a lot you can do yourself without spending any money. You can start off by reading a lot, listening to podcasts, all of that kind of stuff to understand topics that are emerging repeatedly. That's a trend emerging. Google provide a ton of free data. That means you can, for example, just go and look at the growth of a particular search term over time. You can put a search term like recycling into Google, and you can see how many people are searching for recycling, and you can understand how that trend has compared to other things over time, for example. And that's just one or two of the kind of very simplistic tools. But if you are working in a bigger business, some budget you can spend, then we invest in a number of different data sources that support us on trends. So we get a lot from Google. Google help us to understand what our traffic is going to look like. And so as soon as you're in a particular sector, there will be data sources that will help you to understand what's going to happen. I think start with the marketplace, like what's a marketplace that interests you? See if you can find things where there are interesting things going on, and then try and identify within that market businesses that look interesting. Look for investment. That's a great place to go and find interesting startups, because you can search that by category, and you can then look, oh, these guys have just closed some funding, never heard of them before, they've done no brand marketing, you've never heard of this business before, but you can read all about them and you can see how much investment they've got, who their investors were. Those types of sites are great for basically identifying where there's interesting businesses. Yeah, I mean, I think you can tell a story like this and it all like stitches together nicely. It's never that tidy as you're going through it. It can often feel very messy. And I definitely think there's been points at which we thought, actually, that's really failed. And in each case, the thing that I feel like I came out of it with was more resilience and perspective. So the thing that improved was my perspective on the perspective. When you go through your first really, really challenging trading period where you're just not managing to hit your numbers, or people are struggling with your product, whatever it might be, and you've got all the pressure on you from your boss, from your boss's boss, from your investors, whatever it might be, it's really, really, really hard. But you come out of that learning that you can turn it around eventually, but also that you come out of that with really high resilience about being able to do it again. I think probably the hardest thing I did in my professional life was I had run a consultancy business for many years. I had a team of around 20 of us all together, and we made the very difficult decision to close that business after 4 years. And I think it was the right decision to make, but it was an incredibly difficult one. And again, I think the thing that I got out of that was resilience. And if I had started the same kind of business again, I would have done different things and I would have learned loads from it. And I think the main thing that you need is that persistence to keep going and to try again, because all of these things affect your confidence. And it's only with kind of going through that you believe, oh, I can keep going, I can do it again.